All right. Good afternoon. Good to see everybody. Excited to have our first playoff game ever here in Norman, Oklahoma this weekend against a great football team and program in Alabama. Coach DeBoer and his staff again have done a fantastic job there in 2 short years. One of the most talented rosters in the country, led by again Ty Simpson, just a big-time player, great leader. Got a really ferocious defense. Again, where they're been very, very disruptive all year long. Very, very well coached on all 3 phases. So I got a lot of familiarity. Don't want to be real redundant. We just played these guys a couple of weeks ago and had a lot of great things to say. But man, it says a lot about their football team, the injuries that they've had here this year and what they've been able to overcome and still be in the position there, and says a lot about their roster and certainly their staff. So got a lot of respect for Coach and their program.
Okay, let's go to the right side. Colton Sully, first row.
Colton Sully, the Oklahoma. Brent, it's been a little bit over a year since you brought Ben in here. Just curious, after 12 games, sort of maybe where you've seen him grow the most.
Again, Ben's a great leader. You said Ben? Yeah, Ben's a great leader. He's got great self-awareness, leans into his staff. He's done a really good job of helping build on the culture in that room and really kind of starting over from where we were, how we ended the year. A lot of new faces, obviously. Most of our brand new guys are on that side of the ball, and has done a wonderful job of plugging in the quarterback and the staff and the rest of the new players, buy into, again, just how we do what we do. Shows up with great passion and energy, detail every day, and has done a great job when it comes to complementing each other on offense, defense, and a kicking game. And dealing with, again, a tough injury with John, and trying to lean into the strengths of, the other parts of, our football team, and, helping create confidence in the most timely moments here this season. Offense has made a ton of big-time drives or big-time plays when we needed it the most.
Stay outside, Mason Young.
Mason Young, Tulsa World. Brent, just wondering how beneficial the time off with the bye week has been for the health of Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock. And then secondly, with the playoff games not counting against the red shirt, could Javonte Barnes have a role for you guys in the playoff? Yeah,
potentially with that. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, it's been beneficial for the whole team, just to get a little healthier. It's that time of the year for everybody in college football where everybody can benefit from, a little less time on their feet and a little more time, in the walkthroughs and meetings and not practicing as well. So it comes at a great time for us, and I expect to have a little fresher, football team, going into this game. Mm-hmm.
Stay in the front row. Go Jenny and then Barry.
Hey, Brent, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. You've talked earlier this season about this defense and just how many guys have been here multiple years, not sort of an infusion of transfers to build around. Why do you think you guys have been able to do that, to keep guys, to develop them in an era where so many players jump around? Are there things structurally? Are there things that are maybe more intangible that you feel like have been critical to keeping guys and developing them?
Yeah, I think it starts with the people that you're recruiting that, again, chose Oklahoma for, again, development, for the, fraternity of Oklahoma football. It's important to them. Guys that, again, value hard, tough coaching and truthful conversations. Guys that aren't running from hard work and earning, their opportunity through developing and competing. So I think those combinations of, the values and intangibles that they possess, and then, from our standpoint, being genuine, to who we said we were going to be and doing what we say we're going to do. And then I think, connection is a really important piece of it. It's a very valuable piece, and from a value system standpoint, relationships matter. And, so I think that these are guys that feel that there's something bigger than just themselves that they're attracted to that keeps them here. Mm-hmm.
Barry?
Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. Brent, with the expanded playoff to 12, it seems like maybe the playoffs become more of a benchmark for programs and coaches. Has that changed? Like whether it's coaches' goals, whether it's job security, whether it's just status, is this 12-team playoff more of a benchmark in your profession, you think?
I think it's trending towards that. I'd be naive if you didn't believe that that's real influence to where we're at right now. You look at the bowl system and people opting out and things of that nature. So, again, as we've been saying, things have dramatically changed from where they were just, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Certainly just 10 years ago. Not even remotely close. Some things are still the same. I think the inner workings of a locker room, there's more distractions, but I do think most of that is still the same. And but outwardly, expectations and playoff or bust and those types of things, I think that's a very real thing for people, and especially maybe for more influence-wise by where the fans are and what they expect. I don't think that's going to go away. I think it's going to become more of the thing, right or wrong, whether you agree, you like it, you don't. It's where kind of we are.
Second row, far right, Ryan Aber.
Ryan Aber from Sooners on SI. Brent, you've talked a lot about special teams and how key it's been to your success. Obviously, Tate, Grayson, Isaiah have been sort of front and center at that. But I wanted to ask you about some of those other guys, though. Who are some of those guys that have really stood out to you for their contributions on that special teams group outside of that core?
Yeah, the core is really important, obviously, as you recognized, and the success that they've had. Some great stories there. There's a lot of guys. That's a pretty broad question, but it's a lot of our core players. So if you look at guys like Jacoby Johnson or Sammy Omasigo, Taylor Wine and David Stone. David's on field goal block. He's on field goal. He's on punt team. Just to name one of our guys, and also he chases quarterbacks around. And but we have a really selfless group of guys, and then you got guys like Elijah Thomas as a true freshman that has really created a role for himself. This season, not at receiver, but he's transitioning, from high school to college, and Doug's done a great job of putting him in position to, to have him have real impact. But, Day Jordan's another guy that through, tons of success and repetitions, the confidence that he's built through that now he's created a role as well in the trust that you develop through that, as an additional corner. But we've got a ton of guys. It's, Man Robinson here the back half of the season, the last month or so, is really just starting to take off. And now you see him playing a role on defense and, a vital part of what we're doing on special teams. But, Robert Spears Jennings, Cortland Gilroy, I can go on and on and on. Kobe, Kip, just a ton of guys that, they're all too deep kind of guys, most of them, that are playing really big-time roles. Taylor Heim is really taken another big step this year. He's a guy that doesn't get in the game a lot as far as at linebacker right now, but he's going to in the near future, and he's shown great aggression and again loves the contact and making things happen on kickoff as well. So Jaron Kanik is a 2-time special teams player of the year for us, and having a great year in both spots this year. So Satania is, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring him up and what he's meant, the toughness, the grittiness, the competitive spirit that he plays with. Man, guys, they play hard, when they're on the punt return unit, because they know he at any point in time can change a game. And so again, I got a lot of guys to brag on, but I'm Doug Deacon has really done a great job, just as far as, again, continue to build on the culture that we want there, create the buy-in, get guys excited to compete, and impact and influence the game through just having, again, a bad case of the want to. And I love that. And he makes it fun, but he's very there's a lot of detail that go into it, and game planning week in and week out. And he's, no doubt, there's no coach that's had a bigger impact, the last couple of years where that has gone since he took over, in his leadership, what he's meant, to our guys. And really cool to see him be able to celebrate with his guys and take Sandell, winning the Grozas, our first Groza winner. And again, Grayson Miller, another great story of a guy that was pretty inconsistent all spring long, and a guy that, you try to limit his reps because we're trying to get the ball punted to our punt returner down the field and get a good look on punt return. And now he's first team all SEC, and just an outstanding year. And in the toughest moments of several games, the impact of the special teams, whether the field goals or, again, the coverage units, and pinning people inside their own 10 and not letting people the first play of the game or the first play of the second half or the first play of defense, leading the country on our kickoff team with tackles for losses. Man, that doesn't happen by just having good players. Danny Okoye is another guy that, man, he's just taken off. And you see his playing time at his defensive end position improve over the course of the season. But, who wants to block that guy? 6'5", he's 265 pounds, he runs 4.6, and he's really heavy-handed. And but he's really bought into his role. Manny Choice is another guy, again, the last month or so of the season, really, another true freshman, just really, digging into his role, in that regard.
Same row, Tom Green.
Tom Green, Sooners Illustrated. At the risk of being redundant, but kind of piggybacking off that, when you hired Doug 2 years ago, what was it about him that stood out so much just from a special teams perspective? And is this kind of what you envisioned when you brought him on? Yeah,
passion, energy, detail, and everybody said wonderful things about him. People that he worked alongside with, his colleagues. And then there's plenty of things you can go find. You can go dig up some, more information, watching his body of work. Liked a lot of his presentations and his schematics, but it kind of starts with just having, hiring the type of people that you want in the building, guys that have an infectious energy and going to look at the, not naive and having your head in the sand, but looking at the right side of things, and being an effective communicator. He's been fantastic.
Okay, second row in the aisle. Let's go to Joe Masato.
Joe Masato, the Oklahoman. Brent, you mentioned Ty Simpson at the top. He started the year really hot, has struggled a little bit in his last couple of games. What stood out about him when you faced him, and how do you sort of see him now with the full body of work?
Yeah, well, he played, really, again, pretty good against us. Again, threw for over 300 yards the first half. He had a lot of success. But he climbs the pocket. He's patient. He's got great confidence. He's got tremendous arm talent. He's a fantastic athlete, great competitor. He's got a natural leadership ability. He's a guy that doesn't flinch very easy. And so our expectation is we're going to see the best version, of Ty, that's prepared, confident, and ready to lead his team. And so we're going to have to play better. And I know some of our guys have said that. It's not coach speak. It's being honest and real with ourselves as we had time to go back and just look at ourselves and where we need to improve and get better. That's the expectation. Our fundamentals, that's kind of where it all starts, and I don't think we played very well fundamentally. We played with great toughness and really good physicality. We weren't always the most physical team at the point of attack, but by and large, again, we played, with great effort. We just didn't always play or coach, in the cleanest kind of way and to our expectations. So What I can appreciate the most is the first day that I brought this to the attention of the team, after I had the coaches put their lowlights together from the last time that we played. Man, I thought our guys received it very well in a very, again, hungry, driven, humble way. And that's how you kind of, all right, you own it, and then you can get better from it. And then we've practiced with, as much purpose as we have all season long. Last week and starting off yesterday, couldn't be, more excited. And those are some of the underlying things that I've bragged on this group of players as a whole, top to bottom, why they're so much fun to be around. Because the work, you're never going to avoid the work. The work is always part of the process, and you can get them to do whatever you want them to do, but sometimes it's more difficult and challenging than you would like from a motivation and passion standpoint. And this group has been, exactly what you would want when it comes to the edge, the energy, just being coachable. When coachable teams, improve, and sometimes it's not as much improvement as anybody would like, but it's incremental and it's real. If you know what you're looking for, you see it. And but we got great investment, from our guys, and expect to, see a better version on our side, as well as I do, same thing with Alabama. Mm-hmm.
Back to the first row aisle, George.
Hey, Brent, I got two for you. First, you mentioned team maybe being fresher. Do you anticipate Jake Michael or Mason participating much in practice this week?
Yeah, do.
Is there any update
That's
on that?
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
they'll come out with a report.
Secondly, you mentioned at the top getting to play a playoff game at home. How much do you enjoy this new 12-team playoff format? I don't know if you wanted to expand or not, but how cool is it that you guys do get to host a playoff game here?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I don't sit and think about, what an amazing system we have or whatever. I just, all right, we made the playoff, all right? So that was obviously a goal, for us. And, through a really good, strong body of work, we earned our way to get there and just want to make the most of it. And I want our guys to be fully immersed in the moment. Don't take it for granted. These are the good old days right now, and you got a chance to do something really special. As we talked about last week, Alabama's a team that it's been since 1893 since they lost to the same team twice in the same season. So there's a reason for that, just like that it'd been since 2017 since they had lost to an SEC team at home. That's they're a great program with great players, great coaches. That's the way they've been for 100+ years. And so the enormity of the challenge is real. We're going to have to be an improved version of ourselves. Yeah, there's excitement and passion and energy. For us, it's all the same. We've had a biggest game in the world in the history of football, whether it's for Brent Venables or it's for the Oklahoma Sooners or it's for John Mateer, whoever. We've had that. That's how we are all the time, anyway. And we, you don't. Oh my gosh, we got. If we don't win, that's not our mindset. You gain confidence through your preparation, your detail, just putting the work in. And you're always recognized. You're at a place like Oklahoma, all the games are really, really big. There's not a more passionate, well-versed, educated fan base in all of college football. And so they know what they want it to look like, and so do we. And there's an alignment there. And so, but this is really cool. Do you not, recognize how unique it is for our community and our fan base and our families, our players' families? Yeah, that's real too. And but all that's for naught if we don't put the work in. And again, get to the closer to game week, man. It ain't like, oh no, what if you make this mistake or that isn't the mindset either. Man, it's a matter of fact, go for broke, confident, believe in yourself like we have all year. We've got two great teams going at it, and it's going to be, one possession game. It's going to be a game that every play has tremendous magnitude, and and then again, nobody is going to win or lose by themselves. It's going to take all of us, working together, like it has all year long. And so that's kind of been my message. I did, take a time to, make sure our players have a good perspective on, this moment. But again, respectfully speaking, we've been talking about, again, painting the picture of what we want the whole season to look like. And so in our mind, this is the next one that's in front of us, right now, with goals and aspirations to continue to play all the way to the end. And I know it was, maybe, crazy kind of talk and, outlandish, if you will, to talk about that back in fall camp or to mention, big goals and things of that nature. But for us, and we've said it for a while now through, again, a body of work, at the end of fall camp, man, when we put it all together, we can play and compete with any team in college football. And it still holds true. And as I've said, man, you can lose too, to the teams that we're playing because we're playing really good football teams. So, again, like I said, the margins are really small. The environment and the atmosphere is going to be, wonderful. And I also say this, those things don't win, external factors don't, but it's going to be awesome for our players to be able to share this experience, with our wonderful fan base and, all of their families. Mm-hmm.
Left side on the aisle, Jesse.
Jesse Grin, OU Insider. Brent, along those lines of just this 12-team playoff format, when you head into a format where you can play is up to 4 extra games, another month of football, how much does that impact, kind of the way you guys prepare or practice? Do you focus more on rest and recovery? Do you spend more time on the field? Just how does this format kind of impact that?
Yeah, it's all about being efficient, getting your work in, finding the right balance, trusting all the information, trusting your eyes, trusting, there's lots of sports science around it too. You look at everything, and then you just kind of get a feel for, what this team needs, where your emphasis needs to be, but you got to get your work in. This is football. It's hard. It's tough. It's physical. Injuries are part of it. Fatigue's part of it. Nobody's going to be 100%, not this time of the year. So we got to be at our best at, if that's 70% or that's 80%, and every individual's a little different. We got a few Lamborghinis that everything's got to be perfect, but most of our guys are just, again, they're tough, they're edgy, they're going to show up and give it, everything they got and lay it on the line, no matter where they're at from a percentage standpoint. But you got to be smart, and so you spend less time on the field, you spend less time in the meetings, because you don't want it to, you don't want it to feel like punishment. Whatever that means. You don't want it to be just drag. Because I like long. I like more. I just but less is more, I think, and it's appropriate this time of the year. And so you just try to manage that. There's got several of our coaches, myself included, that've played a lot of meaningful postseason games, over the last couple of decades. So you lean back on some of that too, but you also have to trust what you see in front of you, when it comes to this team and what their needs are. Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Bob.
Bob Persbill, Sooner Scoop. Brent, talked to Deshaun White and Braden Willis a couple of weeks ago, and they were both adamant that even though the on-field success wasn't there in 2022, you were the right guy for the job. You were the one that's going to bring OU back to the elite level. Just looking back, anything from that initial season that you can point toward that's helped you get to where you guys are now?
Yeah, I mean, those guys, man, we weren't very deep anywhere. We were a lot better on offense than we were on defense. Statistically speaking, I think we lost 5 games by 1 score, and we just ran out of gas in the fourth quarter that season. But man, the heart, the attitude, the toughness that group competed with, led with, man, they were wonderful. And again, the results weren't what we wanted. Even up to the last game against Florida State, where we're getting ready to go up by 2 scores there with just under maybe 4 minutes to go, and we fumble going in, and they get it back, come back down, and tie it up. Anyway, that was kind of how the season went, but I couldn't have been more pleased with the fight and the attitude of our first team, and they really did a wonderful job of, okay, this is how we do what we do, and obviously you want better results, but they laid the foundation for just new set of standards and expectations, a value system.
Next to Bob, let's go to Josh.
Josh McDaniel, OU Daily. Brent, I just want to go back to the special teams and Tate Sandell. What did you see early on from Sandell when you were recruiting him to say that he could be someone that would be the best kicker in the nation?
Yeah, so as you know, the portal recruiting is a lot different than maybe high school. You know, we signed Jonathan Hatton. Well, we had been recruiting Jonathan and his family for over 2 years. And so that experience, say, with a guy like him is going to be different with a portal guy. But, you know, my first, memories are his visit with his mother and father sitting in my office, his confidence. You know, I've bragged on that and talked about that, with him, very confident. And the mom and dad, you could see where they got it from. But I've learned quickly he's a guy's guy. This guy's going to fit in really well. He's not an introvert. He's into a lot of the stuff that a lot of the guys in the locker room are into, and he was running towards Oklahoma, which I have an appreciation for. Man, he looked at the opportunity like I look at it. Just an amazing opportunity. This is one of those places, and he's had a lot of respect for his opportunity, and resonated with his teammates immediately. But very, very competitive.
Okay, second row, we'll go to Davis and then Carey.
Davis Cordova, Norman transcript. I just wanted to, we know about Owen and his eligibility issues next year. What would your pitch be to the NCAA to get that?
I don't have a pitch. I'm not going to waste my time, I'm not waste your time, I should say. But I don't control any of that, and they're not asking me what do I think they should do. They have systems and processes in place to figure all that out, and so I just want whatever's best for Owen. Whatever he wants is what I want.
How important has he been for you guys?
Yeah, he's been great. He's a great leader. He's been a tremendous playmaker this year. The more he's played, the better he's gotten. Really humble, hardworking guy. It's cool to, his connections from, his uncle that played here, started on our national championship team, was a walk-on as well. Got a great testimony, and drives an old beat-up pickup truck. He says he comes back, he don't want no money, nothing else. He just wants the opportunity to play. And, man, he was certainly raised the right way. Wonderful family, humble guys. Really, he's one of those players that, by how he shows up every day, just his attitude and mindset, he makes everybody around him better and helps connect the team. He's one of the glue guys, in our entire locker room.
Okay, let's go back right side, third row, Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff Brunt, Associated Press. So you haven't really been in here all that long, but yet you've already kind of run the gamut in terms of perceptions and ups and downs. You were the guy everybody wanted when you came here. Went through some struggles. Now you're close to the top of the mountain, so to speak. Having said all of that, what has the burden of being the head coach at Oklahoma been like, given the expectations and the ups and the downs that you've been through?
Yeah, I think the snapshot you just described that's what everybody's life looks like, in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not be up here and you fail in front of the world, but, that's what you just said, that's life. That's, the coach at Oklahoma. I don't mind to be judged and in front of people, and again, failing in front of the world, but, you also be put back together in front of those who broke you as well. And so there's that. And so, I've been in this profession a long time. As I've said, what the game of football has meant to me, it saved my life. Coaches in my life have changed me and shaped me and developed me and given me this amazing opportunity that I have standing before you today. I would not be here if it weren't for people like Bob Stoops and Bill Snyder and Dabo Sweeney and Jim Levitt, Mike Stoops, Mark Mangino, so many people that poured into me and saw something in me before I could see it in myself. And so I come from that place. I don't ever get away from that, ever. Daily, I remind myself of how grateful I am, and I'm in my proper place, and not up here, not down here. I'm just like everybody else. And when it comes to having a favored life and great opportunity through. I play a small part in it, no doubt. But if I have a crappy attitude, and if I have an attitude that goes like this, man, I'm going to live a miserable life. And so I don't look at it, well, the coach, and he goes, how do you handle all this, the highs and lows of being the coach? It's just living life. And a lot of people are counting on you. And so my purpose is not attached to the head coach at Oklahoma. It's, the best title I got is as a dad and as a husband and then a believer. And so I keep things in its rightful place. I put everything I got into everything I do. I love what I do, and I like the good times. I like to be doubted, and and we've, there's several people here. You're doing your jobs. You've had to say the bad things too about us, about me, and that's cool. I don't hold on to it. I remember, but I don't hold on to it. And but that just comes with it too. That you sign up for that, the whole man in the arena thing. And so again, you try to balance everything out and don't live a dysfunctional life when it comes to I'm worried about what everybody thinks now because we lost a game, and nobody cares more deeply than me, and I carry that heavy burden of wanting people to have pride that love Oklahoma, and I want my players to walk with their head held high because man, they're about the right stuff, and everybody sees that and how they play, how they compete, how they win, their success, and to represent this program the right way with great strong character and humility and having a genuine appreciation for their teammates, their college experience, and certainly the jersey they get to wear at the University of Oklahoma. So again, I know it's kind of long-winded, but everybody here, what you described, at some point in time they're going to be there, and somewhere in between. And for me, by the grace of God, I've just been able to stay kind of right here through all of it, and never think too much of myself. And again, I've said this. I know I've lived a career that man I don't deserve. That is represented excellence, not perfectness, excellence for decades. And the people that have been put in my life are players, coaches, mentors, my family. My spirituality of how I've been able to manage it all without, trying to appeal to the voices and the opinions of people that, quite honestly, don't affect me.
Kerry Murdoch from Did I Say Something Bad About Brent.com.
Probably. How many pages?
This is our last question, by the way. We have to.
I asked Ben Arbuckle kind of what he's learned, spending this year from you about being a head coach, and the first word he said was unwavering. There was other adages, I think, tireless and things like that. I'm curious, just you in general, how difficult is it to coach for you, to be on your staff, as much energy as you have, and do you like finding guys that maybe don't have that and trying to kind of bring them up to your level, if you will?
I like people that have it. That makes everything easier. I don't know how difficult it is. That would be the opinion of somebody else. I feel like I provide great structure. I lead from the front, not from the back. I try to be the example, and I'm constantly, planting the right seeds. Planting seeds. Whether you want to think they're right or not, but I'm planting the seeds nonstop of what my expectations are, and try to again just be a model of consistency and being the example and creating guardrails and structure that are going to help people be successful and be consistent, and being thoughtful, along the way, and reminding people what it should be about, where their motives should lie. And so those are just, as a leader, you have to continually rehearse your beliefs, and human nature is to put one hand on the wheel, and so buckle up, two hands on the wheel. This is what it looks like. Eyes forward, and press on. There's going to be good and bad, and you got to be able to handle all of it. And so for me, it all starts with loving what you do. I don't think you'll be great at anything if you don't love it. And so just showing up with an edge, with passion, and then knowing people in the building. All right, people are feeling pretty good right now. I got to crank it up, and making sure people aren't satisfied with making it to the playoffs. You know, we had a bye week, so now the first day coming back, I mean, when game plan's already done. No, it ain't. And so, you know, having a pulse, you know, for that. Sometimes, again, you got to make people uncomfortable. Some people may not like it, and my job is just to help make them better and get them to do what we need them to do so we can be successful. And it's all centered on helping the players and what's best for them. And but I'm no more demanding of anybody else. Not like I'm making people stay up here and guard their desk. That's not my style at all. And but when we're here, man, it's 10 and 10 on the treadmill. Let's go get it. And all the details, everything, little thing matters. And again, if you don't, they won't. So, you know, your players are going to be a direct reflection of the love, trust, and respect that they have for you as a coach. And they're like your own kids. You know, if you assume anything, you know, with them, they're gonna screw up most of the time. And so, you got to continually elevate their standards every single day, and you know, and expect them to do it the right way. Demand they do it the right way every day. Do it the right way. You know, if that's flex, if that's ball security, whatever it is, that's, you know. So that's a bottom line. Anybody that's successful in life is going to expect people that they work with, their colleagues, to hold the same standard, not to compromise at any point in time. And so I got to manage that. I want people that I don't have to micromanage with that, but I do have to always be conscious that I got to remind people, show them, you know, be the example. And then I think the best leaders elevate everybody around them. And I don't know that that's me, but I also have a locker room, player and coach, of a lot of great leaders, amazing people that have, great leadership skills, and in their own petri dish, they get to make people around them better. And that's what an individual coach should do for his position room, is make everybody better. And so demand excellence, and that's what this place expects. You know, if game day is supposed to look something like that, then every other day leading up to that should look something like that. So I don't know if they feel like I feel like I'm a pretty reasonable guy, and I like to have fun when we're doing things the right way and being successful. So I'm not very much fun. I'm passionate, but I'm not very much fun when things aren't going like we want them to go. And even then, sometimes you got to guard against, you know, again, the one hand on the wheel mentality.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Appreciate you.